Money psychology, the hidden mental traps that keep you financially stuck, is one of the most misunderstood forces in human behavior. Most people believe money problems are about income, luck, or opportunity. But the real battlefield is the mind. The truth is that your brain has ancient, deeply wired psychological mechanisms that actively sabotage your financial potential without you realizing it. And until you understand these invisible traps, you repeat the same patterns: earning but never keeping, working but never advancing, dreaming but never achieving. This is the mystery behind why millions of people stay financially stuck, even when they know exactly what they should be doing. Everything begins in the subconscious. Your financial life today is not shaped by what you want. It is shaped by associations your brain made about money years before you ever earned a paycheck. These associations come from childhood, scarcity experiences, emotional trauma, and even the behavior you absorb from your parents without question. To a child, money is never just money. It becomes a symbol of safety, power, approval, fear, or instability. And whatever meaning your brain attached to money becomes the filter through which you see every financial decision as an adult. One of the most dangerous traps is the scarcity loop. When your brain has learned to fear not having enough, it creates a paradox. Even when you have money, you behave as though you don't. You under-earn, undercharge, or hesitate to pursue opportunities because your mind is stuck in survival mode. Scarcity keeps you small, cautious, and afraid of risks that are necessary for growth. People think rich individuals are lucky. What they done TC is that many of them had one advantage most people never escape: a nervous system that does not panic around money. But scarcity is only the beginning. Another mental trap is emotional spending, not driven by desire, but by dopamine deprivation. When life feels monotonous, stressful, or disappointing, your brain seeks an instant reward to break the emotional tension. Buying something gives you a quick dopamine hit, and for a moment, you feel relief. This is why people overspend when they are sad, anxious, lonely, or overwhelmed. It's not a lack of discipline, it's self-medication disguised as shopping. Retail therapy is really emotional anesthesia, yet the most subtle trap is the identity ceiling. Your brain is programmed to keep your reality aligned with who you believe you are. If you secretly see yourself as someone who always struggles, just gets by, or never gets ahead, you will subconsciously sabotage any opportunity that contradicts that identity. This is why people who suddenly earn more money often spend it just as fast. The increase violates their inner identity, so the mind pulls them back down to the familiar level. Stability feels safer than success, because success is unknown, uncharted territory. Fear of visibility is another psychological trap that stops financial growth. Many people are terrified of being judged, rejected, or criticized, so they avoid taking actions that would increase their income. Promoting their work, asking for raises, starting a business, or offering their skills to the world. The brain associates visibility with danger because, historically, standing out meant becoming a target. This ancient instinct is still active today. But instead of protecting you, it blocks your earning potential. And then there is procrastination, the most underestimated financial killer. People believe procrastination is laziness, but it's actually a protective response. Your brain fears failure or success, so it delays the task to avoid emotional risk. The longer you avoid it, the more your self-worth decreases, and the easier it becomes to remain financially stuck. Procrastination is the enemy of wealth because it keeps you trapped in the present moment, unable to build the future you claim to want. The biggest mystery, however, is that your financial patterns always reveal your emotional wounds. If you have unresolved fear, shame, guilt, abandonment, or unworthiness, they will appear in the way you earn, spend, save, invest, and manage opportunities. Money becomes a mirror, and it reflects exactly what your mind tries to avoid. Most people do not have a money problem. They have a nervous system problem, an identity problem, a self-worth problem, or a trauma pattern disguised as a financial struggle. And here's where everything becomes even more complex. Your brain prefers familiar pain over unfamiliar success. The mind clings to what it knows, even if what it knows is scarcity, struggle, or financial instability. To the brain, Predictability feels safer than prosperity. This is why financial self-sabotage feels smooth, natural, effortless, while financial growth feels frightening, exhausting, and mentally uncomfortable. Growth requires becoming someone new. An identity change is one of the most difficult forms of psychological evolution. But the moment you understand how these traps work, everything begins to shift. The first transformation happens when you become aware of your money identity, the unconscious story that sets your financial limits. When you consciously challenge this identity, your brain begins to accept new possibilities instead of rejecting them automatically. You stop behaving like someone who hopes to make money someday and start acting like someone who is becoming financially competent, stable, and strategic. The next shift comes from healing scarcity. When your nervous system stops associating money with danger, you naturally become more decisive, more confident, and more willing to pursue opportunities. Scarcity makes you cling to the present. Safety gives you the ability to plan for the future. Emotional spending fades, replaced by intentional decisions. Opportunities feel less threatening, and money starts to feel like a tool rather than a threat. You also learn to break the procrastination loop. Instead of letting fear dictate your behavior, you begin to take small, consistent actions, which rewire your brain's relationship with responsibility, risk, and reward. Each action becomes a signal to your identity. I am capable of creating more than I thought. The greatest breakthrough, however, is understanding that wealth is psychological long before it is financial. Your patterns come before your numbers. Your identity comes before your income. Once you change the story your brain believes about you, your financial behavior begins to transform automatically. This is the hidden truth. You were never stuck because of money. You were stuck because of the meaning your mind attached to it. And once you change that meaning, the limitations dissolve, the emotional fog clears, and the path forward becomes visible. If this opened your eyes, like the video and follow Mind Mysteries for more deep psychology, hidden behavior patterns, and the unexplained mysteries of the human mind.